Okay, welcome all. If we're quiet for a second, we may hear something. We have a special new piece of technology, you just heard it then, in this warehouse. And it's a small object that flies around, completely automated, and it keeps all the birds out of the warehouse. I don't know if any of you used this particular technique before, but I think it sort of moves around over here and it guards the entrance against any other intruders coming in. It's his house or her house and nobody else can come in. It's completely radio controlled. Okay, that's the intro. Big welcome to the 9th WTG Live. For those of you who've been here before, this is about learning, it's about learning new stuff, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So first of all, my introduction is going to be who and what is WTG, for those who've not been here before, who's Mantra Learning, and what the theme is for today. So first of all, who and what is WTG? Well, WTG was formed in 2009 to showcase technology in warehousing and how that interlocking technology is required to make a warehouse really function very well. And we've all seen loads of examples where the technology doesn't work and it doesn't go out the door. I thought the best way to do this was to create a living, breathing, working environment of a warehouse where we employ all these different technologies, which you will see. And please have a look during the intervals at all the different toys that we've got around here. So over the last 9 years, the membership has grown from 12 companies to now over 20. And I think it's fair to say that I think we've got some of the finest names in warehousing technology in the country. And if you have a look over here on this wall, these are all members of the Warehousing Technology Group. And one of the great things about it is all the members talk to each other, and so does their technology. And that's a really important part of producing a successful warehouse. I'm particularly pleased to introduce 3 new members this year: Spazio Tempo, Eco Lighting, and Siemens. So a big round of applause for all those guys. Thanks very much. For those of you who don't know, Spazio Tempo is the largest manufacturer of state-of-the-art temporary and semi-permanent buildings in Europe, and this is one of them. I think it's fair to say, John, this is one of the largest you've created so far. 32 metre span, can go up to 36 metres, and 55 metres long. 6 metres to the eaves and 10 metres to the top of the ceiling. Interesting piece of kit. It took a week to put up. And for those of you who are with us this afternoon, we're going to go through how we did it in pictorial form, not lots of words like this. And you'll get a feel for what it's like to put one of these things what's it like to put them up. It took a week, which is pretty awesome, isn't it? Eco lighting, and you can see the eco lighting up and down here. And as you can see, it's eco-friendly. As you walk down the building, it comes on in front of you. They're one of the UK leading manufacturers of energy-efficient lighting. And lastly, Siemens. Well, Siemens doesn't need much of an introduction. And what they're showcasing here is control and automation systems within many of the toys and many of the systems that other members use, such as Canap and Interroll. Okay, so that's WTG. Who's Mantra Learning? Well, it's one of the oldest training providers in the UK. It's 50 years old this year. And if anyone's seen the mugs up on the mezzanine, you can nick them. Okay, we positively want you to take them home. So if you want to take home a mug that's got Mantra Learning 50th birthday, please feel free to do so. We're one of the largest specialist logistics training providers in the UK. We provide a broad range of developments, people development and learning experiences, literally ranging from forklift truck and LGV driving to doing an apprenticeship in transport or logistics management, funded by the government. We're particularly good at getting our fair share for the sector of funded learning. So a quick ad for Mantra. If you want to talk to that stand over there, please do so. We now have launched a new company called the National Logistics Academy, which covers the whole of the UK, so we can offer our services nationwide. And because we're a logistics specialist, we've recognised this thing called e-retail that's floated through the atmosphere over the last 10 years, and particularly the reverse logistics aspect of it. We've spent years automating the systems and making it highly efficient to move freight from China to the shop floor in the UK and the rest of the world. However, that's great, but 5 out of 6 comes back, and that's dead labour intensive, and it's a real skilled job. And many people actually might remember, before we had technology in warehousing, it was a skilled job to get out there and pick. Nowadays it's not, it's a de-skilled activity. And many warehouses are automated for the outbound freight, but the inbound stuff, the stuff that comes back, it's a bit of a nightmare. And that particular aspect of the job, it can get costly, very costly, but also it's a big part of a customer's experience. And many of the online retailers focus on the customer experience bit, and we've all seen many issues there. So to support this, as a logistics specialist, we built this centre, and it's called the Reverse Logistics Training Centre. That's what it was built for. We opened it on the 18th of March. It's literally brand new. And I think it's fair to say we should say a big thanks to the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, because we got a substantial grant to help us put the building up. So that's enough about Mantra. What about today? How are we going to measure whether it's successful or not? Well, the theme today, in my view, is it's a collective mission of learning. It's not a trade show. It's a discovery experience. Today it's about you. The theme is you. That's why you're here. That's why you've spent this time to come up from all parts of the UK. And thank you very much for getting here at this time of day and promptly. Not always easy coming up the M6. But today is about you and learning some new stuff. It's about providing some personal thinking space. You don't often get it in your busy lives. You're whizzing from one thing to the next. You need to think about whether to automate or not. What are the challenges? Is it just about cost? Or is it about customer experience? And a question I've got for you is, can logistics be at the top table and be the main part of the marketing mix? Now that's an interesting challenge, because logistics is often seen as a grudge purchase. And arguably, e-tailing changes all that. Actually, it's really important all of a sudden. Logistics works well when no one hears about it. You know it's going well. But stuff is changing because we're getting closer to the customer interface. We're now important not just to keep the cost down, but to improve the customer experience. So hopefully we've created an agenda to do just this, to create that thinking space. I think we've lined up some of the most knowledgeable people in the country and possibly Europe to tell us their story and how they've seized the opportunities and possibly some of the challenges they still face.